performance. It's what separates the winners from the rest. Those who perform at the highest level are the ones who make history and shatter the status quo. But what is the key to better performance? What makes a product smarter, faster, stronger, more reliable? The answer lies in your test data. By tapping into the vast power of test data and advanced analytics, NI helps you discover insights that supercharge the quality of your products and drive countless efficiencies across your organization. Less downtime, fewer defects, greater scalability. Some might say it's a bold concept, rethinking test as a way to boost the performance of today's complex products and the businesses that create them. We simply see it as another way NI is committed to engineering your success.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage NI's VP of Sales, EMEA, Christian Grobmuller.
Good morning and welcome to NI Connect Munich 2022. We are so excited to have you here in person, and we're also excited sharing this via live stream. Thank you. Thank you for being here with us and kicking a day off, a day full of innovation and inspiration. Let me start with a little story. It's a story about data and performance. For nearly 100 years, the British cycling team was exceptionally mediocre. From 1908 till 2000, they did only win a single gold medal, and they had 0 Tour de France victories. The only consistency about that team was that they kept losing over and over again. It was so bad that equipment manufacturers refused to sell to them because of the fear they're getting associated with such a terrible team. But then in 2003, everything changed. The British cycling team brought on a new performance director by the name of Dave Brailsford. And Brailsford, he had a simple but innovative idea. He thought if they could measure and analyze each part of the process of what it takes to become a world-class cycling team, and if they would improve all those steps, little by little, step by step, half of a percentage point of improvement here, 1 percentage point of improvement there, that those improvements would add up into something much bigger. But to execute that plan, Brailsford needed data. He wanted to have data from each part of the process. So they outfitted their cyclists with biofeedback sensors to assess their best riding techniques. They did wind tunnel testing to find the most efficient fabric for their cycling suits. And as they integrated those optimizations, the team began to improve. But they did not only improve, they dominated. In 2008, at the Olympics in Beijing, they did win 8 out of the 14 gold medals. 4 years later, in London in 2012, it was even better. They set 9 Olympic records. And in a period of 6 years, they did win the Tour de France for 5 times. Wow, what a turnaround. Part of that incredible turnaround came from the idea of taking measurements and analyzing the data and improving each part of the process based on that. There is an opportunity for us to learn from that example and to apply it to the work that we all do. Because we all want to improve the performance of our products, right? We want our products to be more innovative, more reliable. We want them to be safer. And we have to bring them to market faster than ever before. So let's follow the example of the British cycling team. Let's improve the performance of your product. And let's increase the efficiency of your business by unlocking the full power of test data. Because after all, test data is the only data that tell you how your product is performing in the real world. So what is the key now of taking full advantage of your test data? It's automation through software. For decades, engineers around the world have used our software-connected systems to harness their data and to create huge efficiencies across their product lifecycle. Automation and software is in our DNA. Tools like LabVIEW, and now SystemLink and TestEnd and many more give you the flexibility to create test systems that prepare your data for a real competitive advantage. Good news, I think, right? In a world where product complexity is skyrocketing and time to market requirements are shrinking. In fact, our recent study with the Financial Times found that time to market is the #1 concern for more than 300 innovators across 10 industries. 46% of them said that they would lose market share over the next 2 years if they would not significantly increase their life cycle process and improve their life cycle process. So, and nearly half of them in that study said that they even don't have an advanced data strategy. If you now think you have to do a bit more with your data, you are not alone. Over the next 40 minutes, you will meet here on stage leading innovators that are reimagining the value of test and that are together with NI working in creative ways to use their data to drive their success. To help kick our NI customer stories off, please join me in welcoming our Executive Vice President and General Manager of our industry-specific business units, Ritu Favre. Good morning, Ritu. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Christian. It is so great to see all of you in person today. As Christian said, there is a big opportunity with data that many of us are not taking advantage of. We know that data is important, critical even, but what are the steps that we need to take to fully utilize it? Many of our customers start on this automation journey as they gather the right data to improve their business outcomes. With the British cycling team, they wanted to know things like how aerodynamic a piece of clothing is in various wind conditions because it would give them a slight boost in performance. Automating the capture of critical data enables faster performance benefits. After automation, we need to standardize our systems to increase efficiency and make them scalable to get the most out of them. After standardization, we need to move into real digital transformation and determine how to best manage the data, analyze it, and share it with those who could benefit from it. Each of these steps is important in your journey to find the performance improvements that your data can help create. Today, we have several companies who have gone through parts of this journey themselves. We're bringing them to stage today to share their stories with us. They will discuss the steps that they took to automate, standardize, and to get themselves on the path to digital transformation. Being on this path helps them to eventually use their data to help increase performance of both their businesses and their products. Our first guest has been leading this path to standardization within a fast-growing semiconductor company. We have worked together to find scalable hardware and software solutions that can be deployed with minimum disruption to their operations. To help shed more light on the story, please help me in welcoming Christian Stockreiter from AMS OSRAM. Thank you so much for joining us today, Christian.
Thank you for having me here.
Before jumping in, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about AMS OSRAM?
Sure. So my name is Christian Stockreiter. I'm a senior manager for post-silicon verification of the corporate technology organization at AMS OSRAM. Our co-headquarters are located in Austria and in Germany, and our product portfolio includes light emitters, sensors, optical components, micromodules, and all the related ICs. So in other words, the products help people and machines to comprehend and interact with the world. So we bring the information that the environment holds for us to light by capturing, analyzing, and visualizing it.
It seems that the light emitters, sensors, and other components help to bridge the gap between the physical and digital worlds, which has never been as important. I know AMS OSRAM has grown significantly in recent years. Tell me how that's affected your area of test and validation.
Yeah, so I started at AMS OSRAM almost 12 years ago. We were a quite small company back then. Due to acquisitions in the recent years, we were growing quite significantly, almost 15 times the size when I started. And with all those acquisitions, you can imagine this brought a lot of difficulties into the process because of the different approaches the different teams had for validation.
Great. So you know that it's a consistent challenge that we've seen with many of our semiconductors. Help me with how you've worked towards a solution for this.
So we decided, among others, to develop a standardized framework which should minimize the need to code, which would also facilitate reuse of measurement IP across the different teams. And doing so, we recognized very quickly that this is a very difficult and big task ahead of us for which we require buy-in of management and engineering, which is quite difficult at the very beginning because you don't have a real proof point. So the next step was really to help the people understand why we needed a change. So, and we had to help them to understand the value of such a framework. When we were able to do this, so we were able to decide, or let's say to convince management to give us a green light, and this worked out finally.
And that can always be a big problem, trying to get management to give you a green light.
Definitely, especially.
So how did you convince other users besides management to get on board?
So there was engineering. So for engineering, we have to take a different approach. You need to show the engineering community the real value. So how to make the life in the lab easier, how to facilitate reuse so that they can share and also get knowledge and IP from other teams. So when we were able to show this, they were also onboarded and we were able to continue.
Fantastic. So being able to maximize your existing resources would be the most realistic way to do this. What did your assessment tell you about the hardware platform on which to standardize on?
So many of the teams were already using PXI or a collection of benchtop instruments. So this was quite easy to come to a decision. So we decided to standardize on the PXI platform because the value was well understood in the company. So we have a small footprint, so it saves space in the lab. With a high channel density, so we were able to cover the pin counts. And we get a quite wide and broad instrument portfolio which fits most of our needs.
And then what about the software assessment?
Yeah, software was much more complex because most of the teams were using different programming languages. So we had to find a compromise, and we decided to standardize on the two most popular programming languages in our company, which were LabVIEW and Python. And here I can say, and I did really a great job because you very well understood the value of standardizing our software development flows. And you supported fully our vision. And from the very beginning, we worked together to align and define the architectural direction for the new framework. And finally, we were able to develop a tailored solution which was meeting our requirements.
Great. It's so great to hear that NI was able to help you. And by the way, we also learned a lot from AMS OSRAM through this process. It helped us refine our measurement link capability, like getting the Python debug flow and test stand. Tell me what results you've seen from the effort so far.
Yes, so far, so we have onboarded 12 business line teams within 5 R&D centers, spread over, let's say, 2 regions. Mainly we started in Europe and then in Asia. So we have 40 lead users adopting the framework. And with that, we were reducing the number of hardware configurations, programming languages, and data formats. With all those deployments, we saw also the benefit of these optimized setups we have and optimized workflows we have in our labs now. But for me personally, the biggest added value was that we are now able to much faster ramp up new teams. And also, if we want to transfer one project, one validation task from one R&D side to another one, we are much more effective.
That's really, really exciting progress. I know many other companies are on the same path and can really benefit from hearing this perspective. So now that you're making progress towards standardization, what do you see is next?
Yeah, so I think the next step for us is towards digital transformation. We need to figure out how to effectively collect our product data, to analyze it and to drive and extract the right actions out of it. So what we did so far, standardizing our test systems in the lab and the workflows, this brought it one step closer. And I have to say it's a constant battle. So to maintain the standard, and it really requires that you maintain consistent and constant buy-in of all the involved teams and management. So, and to achieve that, you always have to communicate. So communication is key to maintain that one. And we still have a lot of work in front of us. And I'm looking forward how far we can go together as partners, AMS, OSRAM, and NI. And with that, I say thank you, and thank you for providing me the opportunity to share this story with you.
Thank you so much for the hard work and openness to create this working relationship with NI. It's been really great work. I so appreciate you joining us today. Thank you so much.
Bye.
So now let's move from the semiconductor world to device test. With over 52,000 employees, Electrolux has been a household name for over a century. Today, they sell over 60 million products every year in every country. This is a highly competitive and changing industry. If you think about your washing machine at home compared with just a few years ago, it is no longer purely a mechanical device. It's a fully fledged IoT device. You expect it to work reliably for a decade, and you certainly want the price to be lower than ever. For these reasons, product performance is top of mind for Electrolux. Let's hear from them about their journey.
Good morning to everyone at NI Connect. I'm unable to travel to be with you today, but know that I'm with you in spirit. I'm Gianluca Tassotti, head of Care Global Laboratory in Electrolux Household Appliance Company. The company gave me this mission: build a strategy to standardize all Electrolux laboratory in the world. The biggest challenge was to focus on consumer expectation, to compete with best manufacturer worldwide based, to improve continuously our way of working, and we act as follow. Integration of laboratory team members with different technical background, harmonization of test procedures, development of tailor-made measurement equipment with data storage and reporting. Today, we can acquire more than 100,000 cycles every month, where each cycle is composed by 50 trends, and 2 trillion of data points has been collected in the last 5 years. This required a large investment in hardware, software, and people. So it was my accountability not only make it a success, but to demonstrate back to the business the value of we could provide. We have seen a result from this initiative: more than 50% of quality improvement in 10 years, a reduction of 25% of warranty cost, 100% of the improvement in star rating consumer satisfaction.
To help us understand how Gianluca and the team at Electrolux achieved the success, I'd like to invite Giulio Bondani, the co-founder of IRS, who's been partnering with Electrolux for more than 20 years. Good morning. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today, Giulio. 20 years working with Electrolux, and I know you've been an NI partner for over 30 years. That is such a long time.
It's a great journey, from the first fabric care validation laboratory in Italy to the standardization of 25 different laboratories in 7 worldwide locations distributed over 5 countries in 3 time zones. At IRS, we have a deep experience in this industry. It's been rewarding to support Electrolux along. We are one big engineering family.
We heard the results from Gianluca, but tell us a little bit more about the implementation.
So we are Italian. We know from history the way to influence is to create a masterpiece and watch it become the standard adopted by the world. Electrolux asked us to do our best Michelangelo impression and create measurement platform, and that was a thing so big, something that Electrolux engineers want to use, not just something they were told to use. We knew engineers were wasting a lot of time repeating basic tests, switching between software, and manually analyze reports. This was frustrating for everyone. Our first job was to digitalize and automate everything in the lab.
So digitalize and automating everything in the lab. Tell me a little more about how you did that.
We need something easy to configure and maintain that would unify all the different software, systems, and laboratories, and be expandable and things evolved. For our solution, we created an hardware and software platform using Compario and Lavio that we call the NI engine.
The NI engine, that sounds really fun. You said you wanted to create a masterpiece, so tell me what challenges you faced.
Over time, our platform was stress tested by continuous change. For example, here in Europe, we use front-load machine and have a set of tests for validating them. As Electrolux expanded in North America, we have to add vertical loading machine, then huge laundrette machine, then dryer, then dishwasher, and the list goes on. The modularity of the NI engine was a breakthrough. It provides adaptability and help Electrolux believe in and adapt our Italian standard.
That's so great to hear. So we've discussed automation and standardization. Tell me about the path to digital transformation.
Just as we had to drive standardization in our measurement system, we now have to do the same with our test data infrastructure. Electrolux currently uses dozens of different software and processes. To use analytics across the organization, we have to first build a foundation of unified test and test data. This is where we are working hard with Electrolux today.
So returning to look at your impressive results, what advice would you give folks to the room that are embarking on a journey like this?
My advice is to drink a lot of coffee with everyone on the team, not just for the caffeine, but to really understand the personal and functional needs of each person. As I said at the start, we are a family. A family trusts each other, communicates well, and works together to solve problems. Becoming part of the Electrolux family, rather than just a nameless subcontractor, has been critical for our and the NI success.
This has been such a great story of automation, standardization, and digital transformation. So now let's return to Gianluca to hear why he chose the approach that he did.
Hello once again. We choose to partner with NI and IRS on this project as we believe they are the only company that can support across our entire engineering and data workflow at the technical, functional, and business level. The software-connected ecosystem of NI provides us the most productive test workflow on the market. IRS add huge value on top of this by supporting us to plan, deploy, scale, and maintain our global test system strategy. Thank you all. I hope our can inspire your journey on test standardization and digital transformation too. Ciao.
Thank you, Gianluca, and thank you so much, Giulio, to come and share your story with us today.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thank you. Dove sei, Veneti?
Now I'd like to take a sharp turn into the automotive industry. A few months ago, the EU agreed to prohibit the sale of cars with internal combustion engines by 2035. This is a huge win for e-mobility, but there are still some real concerns. One concern that stood out from all the rest, the battery. How are we going to keep up with demand? As the Volkswagen CFO put it, the most challenging topic will be ramping up the battery supply chain. Northvolt is a battery manufacturer that's challenging the standards and established supply chain, and they're here today to share their story. Please help me welcome Henrik Rudelius from Northvolt. Great to see you. Thank you, Henrik. Thank you for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about Northvolt.
At Northvolt, we want to make oil history and ensure that the future of energy is fossil-free, ecologically friendly, and fully circular. Our mission is to create the world's greenest battery and battery systems with strong customer focus and demonstrate that battery production can be done responsibly without compromises. To accomplish this, we assess every step of the battery production, from the sourcing of raw materials, to the recycling, to the energy that keeps the light on at our factories. We see battery production as a circular process, driven by environmental and industrial logic. And we aim for our circularity model to become the gold standard for all factories.
Thank you so much, Henrik. I applaud Northvolt's mission to make the world's greenest battery. Can you tell us how TEST aligns to that mission?
Yes, of course, Rita. Being a leader of validation and simulation for Northvolt's battery systems, two of my key performance indicators are quality and performance. Our minimum expectation of a battery system is that it will operate safely and it will fail safely, because no one wants to be on the wrong side of a recall. This leads to a situation where we test and validate for uncompromised quality and safety. However, due to our mission, we must go beyond that and look deeper into how our battery systems performs using cutting-edge data-driven technologies about how we create and test our battery systems to be sustainable, to use less resources and minimize the environmental footprint, traceable from first to last step in the life cycle, and recyclable, so we make our batteries valuable again, further reducing the environmental footprint and cost.
Thank you, Henrik. You mentioned that data-driven technologies help you ensure your batteries meet these attributes. Can you share more about how this impacts the way that you do tests?
Sure. Let's start with how we create batteries, where we have two main scenarios. Batteries can be made from new or recycled raw materials, which puts us in a situation where we need flawless traceability. We track what went into the battery cell, where it comes from, and how the cell was made. This gives us the benefit to quickly review root causes if deviations are found. This data also gives us a unique insight to also understand the impact on the ecosystems. The second scenario comes from the speed of testing we need to achieve sustainable scale. Because we are continuously looking for ways to improve test requirements, and we need the speed to respond and resolve. Testing batteries and battery systems are already extremely challenging. To do it at scale and to Northvolt standard would be near impossible without accurate test data.
Near impossible sounds about right, Henrik. How do you use test and test data to contribute to Northvolt's grand vision and make that into a competitive advantage?
Good question. First, we need to own our test strategy. We are challenging established supply chain, and we can't do it effectively if we are tied up to third parties. Owning our test strategy enables us to quickly implement the features we need. Therefore, we want to make sure we invest in the right technology from the start. Then come openness. We can't be held back by technology limitations when we decide what test equipment to use. And we have to make sure we can implement the features to get the data we need and make fact-based decisions based on this data. That openness accelerates the product know-how of our battery systems.
You know, Henrik, we see this becoming more and more important. You want to work with companies that support your goals, not slow you down or restrict you. Can you share more on how Northvolt and NI work together on this?
Sure. We are using NI's battery test solutions and software workflow for 3 reasons. To first, quickly be able to implement new features, letting the engineers change, customize, and adapt the test systems effectively. Secondly, we get the openness to speed up testing by effectively integrating existing assets and proprietary protocols, so we maximize the reusability of our existing equipment. And thirdly, the test data. This data enables our engineering teams to learn more about our battery systems, about its quality and performance, and ways to improve these 2 main key performance indicators. Actually, one of our engineers will present a session later today on how we work together on battery tests.
This is so great to hear, Henrik, and I appreciate you coming here to share the story, and I'm so proud that NI can contribute to Northvolt's mission through system openness and access to data.
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you so much for coming. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Next, I'd like to bring up a short video to let you know about one of our newest products in the battery testing space.
Newsflash, battery labs need power, lots of power. The power of software to gain insights from test data and improve battery performance. The power of partnership to give automotive and battery manufacturers scalability and speed to meet time to market. And the power of, well, actual power. My name is Arturo, and I am an engineer at NI. Over the last year, we've invested heavily in NI's power electronics portfolio to provide you with everything you need to test EV batteries at the scale that you require. Today, we're announcing the latest in the power electronics family, the HPS 17000. This high-power system is designed for performance. It's a 150 kilowatt battery cycler with low and high voltage modes of operation to serve common 400 and 800 volt EV architectures. But it's able to go up to 1500 volts to support testing of future architectures as well. HPS 17000 cyclers synchronize over Ethernet down to the microsecond so they can operate in parallel regardless of location, giving you more flexibility in the way you lay out your laboratory. This cycler equally synchronizes with high accuracy battery instrumentation so you can readily correlate cycler actions with external current and voltage measurements. Its sub-millisecond dynamic response comes with a modular, easy-to-maintain design. This ensures high uptime and fast troubleshooting. NI designed the HPS 17000 to help you modernize and future-proof your battery lab. Learn more at ni.com/evtest.
Thanks, Arturo. It's great to see some of the new ways that we're helping bring EVs to the market faster. Our next guests have partnered closely with NI to address the challenge of extracting insights from data to improve performance in the aerospace and defense industry. To tell us more, I'm really pleased to welcome to the stage Timur and Fabian from Hensoldt. Good morning. Nice to meet you. Good to meet you. Hi. Timur, Fabian, welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for having us.
Timur, can you please give us a quick introduction to who Hensoldt is?
Of course. Hensoldt is a German champion in the defense industry. And it's our mission to live up to our slogan, to detect and protect with newest technology for civil and military purposes on a global scale. Based near Munich, we provide customer-specific solutions in defense and security applications with a specialty in radars, spectrum dominance, avionics, optronics, and data management. A vital part of our portfolio or offering is our services portfolio, which allows our customers to maintain mission readiness throughout the entire product lifecycle, which in our industry can easily span several decades.
I see one of the services is called Testing Solutions. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. As a technology leader, we continuously expand our portfolio based on innovations. Take data management, for example. At Hensoldt, we look back at 150 years of experience in product and equipment testing, And our testing solution service is quite extensive and has quite a few things such as legacy test systems, current generation test benches, environmental data, geometrical and mechanical data, and SCADA. We also include classified data as well. We keep striving for new approaches on how to improve existing test environments and infrastructure. And lately, a major driver has been the digital transformation megatrend that led to the conclusion that we need to come to far more data-driven decisions. And to do that, we need to connect testers and build a robust data management framework that can unite all of our data, including the classified information that we need to take care of.
You know, Timur, we've seen many of our customers want to make more data-driven decisions, and it all starts with connecting your test systems together and managing that data to get critical insight. But you said two things, connected testers and classified data. You rarely hear these two phrases in the same sentence in the defense industry, and that's been an obstacle for many organizations to be able to make the step. Fabian, can you tell us more about how you solve this challenge?
Sure. So basically, to solve this challenge of connecting testers while also handling classified data, we worked on something we call data aggregation and information mining, or DIME for short. The idea that we had when we developed DIME was that it should span all security levels and departments that are involved in product design, support, and maintenance. However, as you can imagine, setting up such a solution proved to be very complicated. I mean, it's a company-wide solution, and we had to do a lot of things there. During the initial discovery phase, we evaluated several market solutions that were available and also in-house solutions. However, it turned out that in-house solutions were just simply too difficult to maintain, and none of the available market solutions could actually cover our requirements out of the box.
As I understand it, this is where you started talking to NI about the challenge. So what happened after that?
Yes, so after I started working with NI on this particular topic, we quickly figured out that SystemLink actually would cover a large number of our requirements out of the box. And the beauty about SystemLink is it's not a black box, so we could extend SystemLink very flexibly to accommodate our needs. Our system or situation with our fractured data and tester landscape is very complex, but SystemLink could neatly snuggle into this rough terrain, so to say. And basically, this allows us to connect current-gen test systems, legacy and remote test systems, other custom data sources, so we are pretty much settled quite nicely. In addition, we also have modifications for our custom test-end framework, which is called TAC, that allows us to handle secured and classified data across all security levels. After integrating production test data now into our data lake, our employees can now access it in a standardized way, giving them the ability to make purely data-driven decisions.
This is really, really great. Do you have any early indicators of success that you can share with the team?
Yes, of course. So basically, one of our first tries that we have, our first examples, is a line replacement unit from one of our radar systems. So you can imagine that like an ECU in your car. And in 2021, we faced the challenge to ramp up the production of one of our new radar LRUs, and that device had to be tested on more than 12,000 data points. And now, as you can imagine, using traditional methods like Excel, spreadsheet tools proved to be a bit difficult when handling tens of millions of data points for analysis. And basically, after transitioning to our DIME testing solution, we were able to increase our first pass yield from 40 to 95%, which is quite nice. And we did that by adapting the limits during the ramp-up process. And basically, this optimization is saving us rework and analysis steps for several thousands of units.
That's right, Fabian. Additionally, we also evaluated some worst case and risk avoidance scenarios for our high volume products. And in this example, we projected a failure of a key component without tightly monitoring every quality gate in the production process. Such a failure could easily propagate into the next integration step before being detected. In our case, the worst case projections led to an estimate of a total loss of up to 1.5 million and a delay of up to half a year. Scenario we will now be able to avoid because of the SystemLink-based solution we implemented. And the 1.5 million is per incident, by the way, so wow. You can imagine what this amounts up to. From these two examples, you can see that having the proper data management practices in place, it really helps us to make truly data-driven decisions. And whether it's doubling our first pass yield or saving millions of euros, with this solution, we make sure that we at Hensoldt, but also our customers, are mission ready.
This is really, really fantastic. What have you been able to do here by taking a mountain of data and turning that into tangible business insight? It's amazing, not to mention being able to address the data security challenges that are so common in the defense industry. This is really, really great work. Timur, Fabian, thank you so much for joining us, and I really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Next, I'd like to bring back Arturo to share another exciting announcement.
Revolutionary. That is the word many used to describe the vector signal transceiver when we originally launched the first version in 2012. The vector signal transceiver, or VST, combines a vector signal analyzer and a vector signal generator into a single PXI module. This represents a reduction in the cost and size of RF instruments. My name is Arturo, and I'm an engineer at NI. And today, we are announcing our newest third-generation VST, which offers the best performance yet with broader frequency coverage, major bandwidth improvements, and improved RF performance. The new VST3 goes from 50 MHz to either 23 GHz or 26.5 GHz, covering applications from wireless LAN, 5G new radio, and even satellite communications. We've increased the instantaneous bandwidth to 2 GHz, which opens up a range of new applications like wideband carrier aggregation testing for 5G devices. Our latest VST boasts better linearity and signal-to-noise ratio and can make common measurements like error vector magnitude or EVM with 3 dB improvements over our previous generation VSTs. The new VST3 makes huge leaps while maintaining a small form factor using just 4 PXI slots, and is also an easy upgrade from the software perspective because it shares the same software as previous generations. We're really excited to share VST3 with you, and we even brought one here to Munich. Come check it out in our Experience Lounge and join us in our technical session to connect with our experts. For more information about the new VST3, visit ni.com.
Thank you again, Arturo. This year marks the 25th anniversary of PXI. When it was originally announced, there was a question on whether the PXI form factor would support high-end instruments. 25 years later, PXI has become a vital part of the automated test and automated measurement industry. The release of the VST3 is just one more piece of evidence that PXI does support high-end instruments. We're so excited to announce the VST3, so please make sure you go check it out at the Experience Lounge. Switching gears, once again, back to automotive, our next guests work with both luxury cars and with data. Please welcome Jorg, Marek from Jaguar Land Rover, and Melissa from Seagate. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, Melissa, Jorg, and Marek, it's so great to have you here with us on stage. Jorg, let's drive right into this. Please tell us more about Jaguar Land Rover's vision for mobility.
Sure, Vito. So our vision is to create the world's most desirable luxury vehicles, the best driving experience, and of course, new digital services. You can only do this utilizing the power of your teams. And we are forming one of the best global teams right now. We are very proud of our diverse, multinational crowd at Jaguar Land Rover. Over the past 18 months, we have been transforming our business to agile. We have torn down silos and hierarchy. Our engineers are now empowered to lead, make decisions from wherever they are in the world. They are creating the new products of the future. Our reimagined strategy clearly drives all this. It allows us to innovate, and we are allowed to disrupt at pace and with clear purpose. Purpose is now part of our brand DNA.
That sounds amazing. Now, as a luxury brand, I would assume that Jaguar Land Rover would be one of the first to focus on cutting-edge features in the assisted and automated driving space. What kinds of things are you doing in that area?
Well, the automotive ecosystem clearly is all about the right partnership. I think we all have seen a paradigm shift in the way we work our products in the future. It's all about data, right? It's not about the classic tier one driven past. It's all about data. We are deriving new features using data, and we are learning continuously through data analytics. Jaguar Land Rover have joined forces with NVIDIA, a powerhouse in software, AI, and SoC development. Our teams, our engineering teams, are working closely together on a white box software collaboration, and they are creating the next generation of driver assistance systems and autonomous driving. For us at Jaguar Land Rover, that means we are becoming a tech company. And that means we need to recruit the best people, and we need to partner with the best. Clearly, we will not reinvent our products, but we will make our products continuously better using data, and we will further innovate using data to define what the future of modern luxury actually is. Right now, Jaguar and Land Rover as brands are being reinvented through the power of our people, our partnerships, our new products, our data-driven products, and of course, still through cutting-edge design.
That sounds really interesting and also very, very challenging. Marek, what are the roadblocks you're facing that you need to manually maneuver around?
Yeah, there are many challenges to put this into action. So for example, level 2 feature, automated emergency brake, which can be found in many of our cars today. One of main key performance indicators is false activation, what is mostly tested by replaying set of recorded scenarios in open loop. But as we go towards higher levels of automation, features are more neural network based, and they are in charge of ego vehicle's trajectory, what requires us to close the loop and test with huge amount of scenarios. The amount of simulated and recorded data is massive already, but the utilization of data sets, it's something what is being improved.
So data utilization is a key challenge. How are you adapting your verification and validation strategy, and how is NI helping?
So internally, we are clearly focusing a lot on the early stages, which we call shift left. There's a strong and close collaboration between the validation engineers, the systems engineers, and software architects, of course. The well-known principle of system engineering also applies to Agile. If you don't specify and get your requirements right in the beginning, it will be very costly in the end. So to avoid this, clearly every requirement needs to be traceable, and it is key to influence from validation engineers the model-based system design already in the early stages. So bring left and right side of the V model together. That sounds like waterfall, but it is agile and is important for us to deliver the robustness. All the data that we derive from our test cars, our test rigs, our test assets are being pushed into the cloud. That enables us to make data-driven decision. Essentially, it's the most robust product that goes along with new modern luxury as well.
Together with NI, we're implementing test strategies which are based on both lab-based testing using software in the loop and hardware in the loop, and open road testing and data collection. So you can find one of our ground truth data collection vehicles here at the expo floor, presenting results of our engineering work. Using the same common hardware and software platform for data from system under test and from reference systems has been a key to our success. XIL test environments like software in the loop, hardware in the loop, and vehicle in the loop make our verification and validation more robust and efficient. They also help us to deliver better quality of V&V, and quality of end product. The openness of NI toolchain allows us to adjust toolset to our processes and not opposite. We're also partnering with NI on joint future developments, like, for example, AI-based scene detection. This is what helps us to identify interesting and relevant scenarios while we're recording data and hunting for unknowns too. And then we're converting this relevant data to virtual scenarios to close the loop, and then test with scenarios which are really driven by real-world situations. So when we put all those methods and test environments together, this is what boosts our verification and validation. And as a result, we make our mobility even safer and more enjoyable.
So partnering is a really key word here, since the sheer volume and complexity of what we're talking about is difficult without help. This brings us to you, Melissa. How is Seagate a part of this whole puzzle?
Sure. Seagate's known globally for our storage solutions, from our consumer-based to providing both systems and storage to the large OEMs and hyperscalers. We're shipping more than 600 exabytes of storage around the world globally. And we're here to support the world's data needs, from autonomous applications to government, aerospace. We serve a variety of verticals with different needs. With our expanded live portfolio, we combined our core competencies of enterprise-grade, high-performance storage with our consumer ease of use. The audience for our solutions isn't necessarily always the IT department. You know, we believe in this from an industry-leading data storage and service perspective. We're focused on data logistics and data operations. So, thank you.
There's some music going.
Yes, so I figured that was my cue. That was
we're ready to
that was my Oscar
elevator
moment cue,
music.
right? Yeah.
Okay, looks like we have all the puzzle pieces in place to establish that the data and software-connected workflow that Jaguar Land Rover is looking for. Jörg, tell us about your level of confidence to make this a reality.
Sure. I mean, clearly we are still on a journey at Jaguar Land Rover. But to achieve this confidence, we need to get the data coming in. And of course, you know, the test case is passed. That's the goal, right? But we are also creating the software-defined car right now at Jaguar Land Rover, while others still talk about it. We have been introducing software over-the-air campaigns for over the last 3 years to our vehicles, while others still need to get their cars to the dealership for a physical update. Over 70 of our ECUs in our architecture allow that to happen. They are all dual-banked. And from that, we definitely have gained a lot of experience the last 3 years on how to learn to reach the cars over the air, how to analyze the cars over the air, and then clearly from data analytics, we have learned how to create new products that we will have in the future over the air. From my perspective, data and data analytics, clearly that's the new energy for our automotive products.
This is really fantastic. And as we're coming together to make data and ultimately the vehicles more valuable, Melissa, Jörg, and Mark, we're very happy and proud to join forces with you on this journey. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Rita.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So today we've seen some great examples of companies who are on their journey to embrace their test data as a competitive advantage in their organizations. Automating, standardizing, and achieving digital transformation helps them create products and organizations that perform better. All of you are making the products that solve the world's toughest challenges, and we're here to help you with the systems that you need to capture the data that will maximize product performance. Data capture and automation is where it all starts, but that is just the beginning. Looking to the future, we envision companies using this data with artificial intelligence and machine learning to drive tests to a whole new level. This will allow companies to deal with the complexities of future products, some of which we can only imagine right now. Our goal at NI is to help companies drive their business performance with product data in the same way that they do today with financial and customer data. In the story that Christian told at the beginning, the British cycling team showed how gathering, analyzing, and acting on their data added up to massive performance increases. These ultimately led them to become the best in the world in their field. Let's follow their example. Let's embrace advanced data strategies and find the untapped opportunities to push our performance even higher as we engineer ambitiously. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today, and please enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you so much.